Hi, it's San Miu here, holistic transformational mentor for conscious leaders and practitioners. In this video, I'm going to be talking to you about the 3 big mistakes that people make on the verge of breakthrough and major transformation, and also when it comes to stepping into your next level of visibility, income, and impact. So when we look at these 3 mistakes, I'll dive straight in. The first one is that they let their fears hold them back. The second one is that they're getting distracted. And the third one is that just because it doesn't seem to be easy, they start believing that it's not meant to be right now, or it's not meant to be for them. And that is the biggest downfall. So I'll wrap these up a little bit into a summary answer or description and why that's happening, because that will kind of come together into the same thing. And what I call that, the reason for these 3 massive mistakes is that we all have experienced, either one or all of the 7 main forms of resistance. So when I talk about resistance, I don't mean like a consciously experienced resistance that you don't want something. It's not that easy. most of the time it's very subconscious. So it's not something that you want, it just plays out. It's like a subconscious sabotage. So when we talk about resistance, what does it even mean? So resistance happens when, like for example, if you imagine drifting down a river with a strong current and you're trying to swim against a stream, you experience resistance. It makes it a bit harder, right? So it doesn't mean that you might think you're swimming in the wrong direction. You kind of are. It's certainly not easy, but it doesn't mean that it's not meant to be like that. So what I usually like to explain this with is like, imagine you're standing in the center of a circle. You can imagine like a circular carpet underneath your feet, might make it easier. And imagine there's a pole, like a wooden pole in the center of this carpet, and your legs are strapped around this pole with an elastic band. And what you're then trying to do is you're trying to walk away from the center of this carpet to the edge of the carpet, all the way until you're at the edge. So you're starting to stretch a little bit, but not very much, this elastic band around your legs. And then after that, the next circle out is your learning zone. So as you walk into this learning zone, you might find that you're slowly starting to stretch this elastic band. You find some things are a bit tricky. So let's say on your entrepreneurial journey, you might learn a new way of getting yourself out there. You might learn video, you might face some fears, you might check out webinars, or you might do your presentations or whatever. Or if you're already a bit further along the journey, you might be scaling from 500 people in the audience to a few thousand. No matter what it is, it doesn't matter where in your journey you're at, we always stretch our comfort zone, and so therefore we experience resistance. So as you do that, you might still be okay, but then all of a sudden you hit the next level, and that is danger zone. So what happens here is you reach that next level, and that might, as an example, you might be getting a sudden promotion or collaboration coming in that would, expose you to millions of people versus just a few hundred or a few thousand, right? So all of a sudden you're hitting this level of, oh my goodness, can I do this? And if you're not that far yet along the journey, it might just be you've done a few videos and you've done maybe your first webinar, but now you need to take it to the next level and you've got to put up your prices, or you're getting it out to more people, and you're facing a block, right? And so what happens is, without you realizing this, or without you being aware of this possibly, you start facing the one or many of the 7 forms of resistance that we experience as people. And also what can happen is, once you hit that learning, the end of the learning zone, and hit that danger zone, your subconscious will go alarm, 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 and you get flung back to at least the wooden pole, or even further behind that. So you feel like you're starting again from scratch, and you go, how on earth did I get back here? And what happens is you then start questioning yourself. You might go, oh, maybe that wasn't meant to be. Maybe I went into the wrong direction. Maybe I need to go a different way. It wasn't meant to be. I should have tried something different. And then you might adjust your direction and you walk a different direction, right? People say, oh, it wasn't meant to be, try something different. And this is one of the most major humongous mistakes, because it underlies everything. We think it's not meant to be just because it's hard, or because it brings up stuff, and that's not true. So in order to shift this, we actually need to go back to this point where you're back at this pole in the center of your carpet, and you go, instead of asking, what on earth did I do wrong? You actually ask, what on earth did I do so right that I confronted my subconscious patterns and thinking so much that it threw me back into a zone of safety, of comfort. So get that shift from asking, what did I do wrong, and then running a different direction and trying again, only to be flung back again. We actually want to scoop that all aside, ditch that pattern of repeating the same mistakes over and over. We actually want to face this, and we want to say, what did I do so right? What was I doing so well, or what was I hitting another level of understanding, of consciousness, of ease, of flow, of joy that brought me out of my comfort zone? So when you can tap into that and actually get some answers there, maybe see, I thought things were too easy. Like I remember this time a few years ago, very distinctly I sat at my desk and I felt a bit overwhelmed by all the tasks I had to do. And I realized, if I just focus on this, that, and that strategy, everything would be so simple and easy, right? The very next day, I hit this level where I got totally flung back, and I was like, what did I do wrong? What's going on? And then I realized, hang on, I think I've just hit a sabotage pattern here. I need to ask myself, what did I do so right? And it was almost hard to remember what I was thinking of that day. But then, because I know how resistance patterns form and how they play out and how they hold us back, I could then tap into, actually, I realized I was seeing the truth of how easy it can be. And that way it was much, much easier to come back again. But in order to do so, we need to understand this concept. It plays out everywhere. So if you're finding you're experiencing any forms of resistance, like fear, it's one of those 7 forms of resistance. If you're distracting yourself with shiny object syndrome, and you're going for the next shiny thing, or the next shiny strategy, or the next shiny mentor, or the next shiny this or that, make sure it's really in alignment with who you are and where you want to go, with your overall vision and mission, and it's not just something that's pulling you off track, because that's so common. You might have opportunities come in, but if they're not fully in alignment with where you're going and where you're meant to be going, and this is all based on knowing who you are and where you're meant to be going. So that's why this was such a core part in the first part of this journey that I shared with my video series. You need to be sure to know who you are and where you want to go, so you can align all those opportunities that come your way, and you know if they're 100% aligned, or if they're distractions, if they're pulling you off track. So then you'll know straight away what's right and what's wrong, and you can keep moving. And the third mistake that I mentioned, where things don't seem to be easy enough, and they're obviously not right because of that, well, that is now explained too. That's not true. It's very likely that it's pointing you the right way if you proceed anyway. But in saying this, I'm not going to say like that everything when things go wrong, it's not true, that it's not meant to be. That's not what I mean. There is a distinct thing here where life or the universe is trying to knock you on the head to stop you, to show you that it's not right. Yeah, so that can happen, and we need to listen to that. So it doesn't mean that just because things seem to be hard that it's still meant to be pushed through. There's a fine line, and we need to come really into the understanding of what feels aligned versus what feels not right. So we need to, again, understand our body, our mind, and our spirit to really decipher whether it's in alignment or out of alignment. And this is what I help my clients and students with. And if you would like any support with this, reach out. I'd love to check out what's in your way to experiencing your next level of full purpose, full income, and full impact that's possible for you, so that you can fully connect with your huge, humongous something, so your full potential, your ultimate purpose and potential, and so that you can fully share your gifts and message with the world, so that you can impact all the people that you're meant to be working with and sharing your gifts, so you can contribute to that big change in the world that we all want to see. So if you want to reach out, book in for a heart-to-heart chat. I can't wait to talk to you. It's totally free and completely obligation free. It's really just there to support you on your journey of taking the right steps that are in alignment with you and who you are. And so we have more of a consciousness shift happening on the planet. I'm all for that. Let's rise together and let's bring out more of that magic that you've got within you so that the world can benefit of it. So I look forward to hearing from you and wishing you a wonderful day. Bye for now.